Hey guys, welcome to Broad Street to Britain with me, Dave Shaw. Ryan and Alex are joining me as well. It is a deadline day special here and a lot going on. I've been away from my phone for 2 minutes and I feel like I'm missing out already. So the latest with the Phils that has just dropped. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, put your comments in below. If you're watching on Twitter, let us know about this. Michael Lorenzen is a Philly. In comes Lorenzen off the Tigers. Out goes Hyo-Yo Lee, who's gone the other way. He's an all-star. Lorenzen's an all-star. Good flexibility. Can even play a bit of outfield. Yes, we can stick him in
Vince
that
Velasquez in 2023.
Hey,
We're loving it.
Is this the two-way player that everyone dreamed of?
Yeah, this is the one that they've all been talking about. This is the one.
The B grade Atani or the F grade Atani. I don't know. 34.
Yeah, I B is generous.
34 career games in the outfield, 7 career home runs, average lifetime of .233. Hey, could do a job. He's having a really good year. Like I said, all-star, no runs or 1 run allowed in 9 of his last 18 games. ERA of 3.04 since 1st of May. Usually gets to the 7th inning. Good durability. There's likely to be a 6-man rotation until we have the off day in the middle of August. And then we reassess. Does he go to the bullpen as relief? Does Sanchez go to the bullpen? Whatever way you look at it, it's good for the bullpen because we need a long man relief in there. So that will upgrade the bullpen as well if we don't go out and get another one in the next 1 hour and 25 minutes. He's already pitched 105.2 innings, 83 strikeouts this year. Alex, my man, how are you? And what do you make of Mr. Michael Lorenzen?
Hello, Dave. There's a lot to talk about here. The first thing that I'll say before we get started, if you guys have questions or anything like that, drop them on Twitter for either me or for in the YouTube comments or whatever we're doing here. You can tag me on Twitter. You can do whatever. I'll answer them on here as best I can. The number one thing that I like about this trade is that Michael Lorenzen and Caleb Cotham are close, right? These are guys that know each other. They've worked with each other a lot. They both spent a great amount of time with the Reds organization. We know the Reds organization is incredibly good at developing pitchers. This is well known. The other thing that I love, Lorenzen is an athlete of athletes. He is really, he is a very, very good athlete. It's why he was a two-way player before, frankly, being a two-way player was cool. So he's a really, really great athlete, great guy, and knows the Phillies pitching development team, aka Caleb Cotham, really, really well. And they know him. And that is a big, big plus here, especially given the flexibility of, is he going to stay in the rotation? Is he going to go to the bullpen? I would assume no matter what, he'll be in the bullpen come the playoffs. In fact, he might take
really.
Matt Strom's
you
spot.
think come postseason it'll be he'd be rolling in the playoff in the bullpen and Sanchez would stay in the rotation?
No, I think it would
Both
be
would go
Walker.
to the bullpen.
It would be Walker, Suarez, Nola, and Wheeler. If they needed a fourth starter, if they didn't need a fourth starter, it might be Wheeler, Nola, and Walker. So it really depends. But I think that a lot of what this really hinges on is his innings limit. So Lorenzen hasn't been a starter for all that long, right? This switch for him only came in the last couple of seasons. So he is starting to inch towards a career high in innings pitched. That is usually not a great thing that you want to blow over by too many innings. And yes, he's a free agent, whatever, after this season, but Lorenzen is going to want to, secure a nice payday next year, right? So you don't exactly want to risk his health for whatever the plans are down the stretch here. So that is an important thing to take into consideration. As for the return, Hyo-Yo Lee was my number 7 prospect in the Phillies system. I know he's number 5 on Pipeline. I think that's a little high. I also think if you're ranking Aiden Miller, Justin Crawford, or Griff McGarry, or Johan Rojas under him, you are insane. But listen, great hit tool, that's about it. He's rather positionless, and I was honestly starting to get a little worried about his durability and his power. So definitely very. I'm okay with the return here. I think it's a good trade overall. I'm really glad they got a pitcher.
Good deal overall. We're liking it. I got to say on Twitter, a little bit of mixed reaction, but on the vote I put out, are we happy with the move? Pretty straightforward. It was a yes, no, or meh. 420 votes so far. 64% of you think it's a good move. Yes. 4% say no. 32% are a bit meh. So Ryan, where are you on the move? The Phils at last, after a day of no rumors, a day of just, Dave, are you awake? What's going on? All of a sudden, typical Phillies, isn't it? Bang, out of nowhere, no rumors all day. Bang, the first rumor comes within 2 minutes of the move being done. That's the way the Phils do it. That's the way Dombrowski does it. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this trade?
Well, I think we have to be realistic. We expected the Phillies to make a Dave Dombrowski style trade, which was for probably someone whose contract was expiring, that doesn't expose the Phillies to any long-term potential value depreciation, financial commitment, and that didn't involve trading one of the sort of higher end prospects. And that's exactly what we've seen Dombrowski do.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we can't get excited about it. I think we all agreed on the previous podcast that the Phillies needed some help, given that there isn't really a starter ready to come up from the minors, which some other clubs have in and around us. We didn't have that. I think it makes sense for the Phillies. It's not cheap in terms of they have given up a decent prospect here. I think we shouldn't be in under any illusions. He, by all accounts, can play decent defensively, and he has some ability to take walks. The batting eye is reasonable, and the power may need to develop a little bit, but there's some speed there. So he's a decent prospect. I do hear that, like, he's a top 5 Phillies prospect. I'm not really sure what those lists are. I wouldn't have had him in my personal top 5 for the Phillies. And some lists that are going around have him there.
But one thing, too, to touch on this with what you're saying is I saw in The Athletic, they wrote up that he is positionally versatile. And that's actually not true. The Phillies are really trying to find a position for him. Doesn't really have an arm for the outfield. He's been okay at second base. That seems like it's where he's going to land. He's definitely not a shortstop. They've tried him at third base, and that really hasn't worked either. So, versatile is a strong word. He really just hasn't found a home yet and is kind of floating. So I'd imagine he ends up at second base and is okay there. But yeah, it's a little tough. It's tough to rank guys when they don't have a place they can play on the diamond.
Tough to rank anyone as well when they're 20 years old, and that's not
true.
to say, you don't just throw away any.
We've got breaking news. Holy
here we go.
Cow. The Marlins are grabbing Jake Burger from the White Sox. Holy crow.
That's what, David Robertson and Jake Burger. So what are they giving up? Because last podcast we said the Marlins don't have much left to give up, do they?
Oh, I thought that was such a big world that I thought we were getting Phillies news. How did
what a letdown, Alex.
That's gotta be somebody like Max Meyer or Jake Eder or somebody big, because that Jake Burger has like 4 years of control left. That's
for the Marlins. Wild. So many teams are going in this year. It's great. It's great for the fans, not just for us, but for around baseball to have so many teams putting all their chips in. The Mets obviously going in. Ryan, the prophet. Last podcast, Ryan saying about Verlander. Okay, we were joking he could come to us, but we're only joking he could be going. And look, they've lost Scherzer, Kana, Verlander. But the Marlins
we'll get on.
Yeah, it's Jake Eder going back to the White Sox. Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's strong. They'll be glad that it's not Meyer. I mean, yeah, but it's fairly strong. Although Eder's sort of, I thought that he might have contributed a bit more this season to the Marlins and hasn't for a number of reasons. Yeah, hopefully it comes good for him. It's not a bad pickup. We'll talk about the Mets shortly. I just want to make a couple of points on Lorenzen because I touched on Lee, the prospect going the other end. I didn't say anything about Lorenzen. He's an interesting one. I think what Alex says about him maybe being in the bullpen if we do make the playoffs is probably right for a number of reasons. One, the top 3 guys that we've got would be in any sort of 3-man rotation. They are Sorry, I think you caught me. They're bona fide 3-man at the top of the Phillies rotation. And the other point to make about Lorenzen is he's never really gone over 100 innings. There is a bit of a question mark about what he's going to be like as he gets up towards 140, 150 innings. So we'll have to monitor that. True. We'll have to see how he goes. But he does induce some ground balls. His whips, his control's been good this year. It's the best season of his career, and we've just got to hope.
He's having a career, without doubt,
Yeah, I mean, the 9 or 10 starts that we get out of him will hopefully be enough for this to be a decent trade.
Absolutely, and with that, which you touched on there, he hasn't gone over 100 innings. He is over that. He's on 100 and what did I say earlier on? 105.2 already. Yeah. I think we'll be reluctant then to put him in the pen after we get the off day. In fact, we get a couple of off days after the Blue Jays series, one before, one after. And then the Phils can sort of reset if they wanted to the rotation, and either him or Sanchez may go down, because Sanchez is also reaching a career high in pitches pitched this year as well, which is something you've got to monitor. But a lot of our bullpen players are as well. Matt Strahm and Hoffman as well, being crazily overused at the moment and doing a fantastic job. It's got to be said. I'd kind of like to see one more bullpen piece brought in just to strengthen that, because Sir Anthony, health question mark, Jose Alvarado, health question mark, not quite the pitchers they have been in previous years. So I would like us just to bolster the depth in that bullpen, and Kobe's spot would be up for designation. So it's no brainer. Let's see what Dave does in the next hour and 15 minutes to go. The Marlins are adding some of the comments here. Corey says should have bowled over Chicago for Bellinger before they went on a win streak. That win streak from the Cubs is just, damn it! It really did push us and everybody else out for Bellinger. Phillies Utley says Trey Mancini designated for assignment by the Cubs. Option for the Phillies if they can't get Duvall or someone better. And the GOAT says Lee had to be traded at some point. Trey Mancini option. I'll never forget that incredible grab he made for the Astros in the World Series, which should have got down the first base line.
Well, he's going to go somewhere. He's too good not to go to someone that's going to try and get old Trey Mancini out of Trey Mancini, because if you get him good, then he's good. He's a good player. So
would he be an upgrade on Harrison? Do we think would he be an upgrade on Harrison that we have now if the Phils just looked at Trey Mancini?
I think in terms of the ceiling for those two players, there's something in Trey Mancini that's not quite in Josh Harrison, would be the way that I'd put it. So there's a potential to get a very nice power bat that makes good contact, that hits for average, that causes problems. Whereas Harrison, I think at this stage of his career,
he's just a vibes guy, right?
Yeah,
a great career. Nice. just more of a vibes guy. Alex, Trey Mancini literally just been designated for assignment. A potential late option for the Phils?
Could be. Speaking of positionlessness, I mean, he really does not play anywhere very well. And also the bat has been really, really bad. So, it's a maybe kind of thing for me right now. They definitely will not trade for him as he has a second year on his contract. And They probably will just wait for him to get released possibly. And then maybe, they can try and sign him to a league minimum deal. Although, we're ticking away at the deadline here, and by the end of this deadline, their roster is probably going to be set. I can't imagine they're waiting for anything to happen. So if unless he miraculously passes through waivers in the next hour, and then the Cubs formally release him, I don't think the Phillies will be players there. He is also, it's unfortunate, but he just hasn't been himself since he obviously left baseball briefly for cancer treatment. So I hope that he lands somewhere and gets to play. But, right now, I'm not sure if that is exactly the right fit for them. I think if they're going to replace somebody like Josh Harrison, it will be via something else. Well, really quickly, if we want to talk about this Jake Berger deal.
Yeah, so the Marlins strengthening. So of course, who we're playing now, so we could see Berger in the next tomorrow or on the Thursday.
I would
game.
imagine tomorrow. Yeah.
It's like we said last week, we're going to be seeing players on both rosters now. Completely new acquisitions, and the fortunes of the Marlins. Is it enough to push the Marlins over? The pitching, the bullpen has been good for them this year since the All-Star break. Has slightly wavered now, as have the Marlins since the All-Star break. Full stop, as we saw last night as well, giving away a 2-run lead. Jake Berger, just confirmed now, literally now. John Heyman has tweeted, so it is official that Jake Berger.
I wouldn't say he's the litmus test for what's official and what isn't, but
my phone, I've got notifications on for everybody, so
Well, I assume that Berger is supplanting Gene Segura in the lineup, and Segura's going to be playing. He's struggled all year. He's been hitting these like golf swings on his knees or something. I don't know what he's
I'd imagine. I doubt. I really don't know if he's gonna stay at third base with them. He's been really bad at third base.
Yeah.
I also just don't think. I mean, maybe he will stick there. Who like just for this year. But I think he's probably set to play first base and Garrett Cooper DHs or vice versa. But
what I was going to do is go to what the Phils could do next, and then get to the rest of the league and what everyone else is doing.
Sense.
So they're linked with Tommy Pham, Dylan Carlson, Harrison Bader, Adam Duvall. Out of those, for me personally, I think I'm swaying towards Duvall. To Pham and Carlson, no. Bader, I'd take if it was a good return back. Alex, Ryan, and you guys watching right now, where are you all going towards? Everyone's got different opinions on this. Everyone's got their own sort of favorite players. For me, Duvall and Bader. Duvall probably top of the preference. But what about you guys? Alex, who would you like to see the Phils? What next? What next for Dave Dombrowski? He's got just over an hour to go.
I think the only things that I want to see now are Teoscar Hernandez and Jurickson Profar. And I think that I'm selecting those two because Teoscar Hernandez, while he hasn't been all that great and hasn't played a lot of left field, I do think that there is more of a chance that he gives them the thump they're looking for than Adam Duvall. I think Adam Duvall has a chance to add some real. Oh, we've got another
Dodgers.
Eduardo Rodriguez going to the Dodgers. It wasn't after the Lorenzen thing. It wasn't going to happen. But I did have a really strong feeling that they were going to trade for a Detroit pitcher. I just didn't know which one it would be, and it turns out it was Lorenzen. But I think that I'm leaning towards Teoscar because he's younger and has more of that, this guy's been an all-star before. That Adam Duvall hasn't. He has back in his younger days. But
and a World Series winner.
Teoscar, when he's on, he has some really good damage rates. He hits the ball really hard. And even though, he is the league leader in strikeouts, I think I trust him to make more meaningful contact than
I know he's going to be a player to frustrate. Like I can't.
I mean,
watching
you might as well
swing and miss at pitches nearer to first base and home plate is getting frustrating enough. But
here's the thing: they do have a lot of guys that are striking out at massive rates, right? Kyle Schwarber strikes out a ton. Brandon Marsh is striking out a lot, although he's really cut down in recent days. Obviously, Nick Castellanos has been striking out a ton. Trey Turner's been striking out a ton. They also have Bryson Stott and Alec Bohm, who are, top 30 in the league in strikeout percentage, both of them. And I think that you can kind of, even though we don't want a lineup full of guys that are just going to strike out in big spots, I think that if you're already in that trend, you should just kind of lean into it. And it's not like you have any other options really. But I really like Teoscar Hernandez more than I like Adam Duvall. I wouldn't be upset if they got Duvall. I also wouldn't be upset if they got Pham. If they got Pham, I'd need to see them add a little bit more thump.
Pham is really hit and miss with the fan base, isn't it? It's an either
it's just because
yes.
because of his clubhouse his
clubhouse last year. Yeah.
I don't think that it's, if they make a deal for Pham, I don't think that's anything to worry about. If that were a problem, they wouldn't make the deal, right? So, but anyway, I'm siding with Teoscar. I think I value Teoscar and Adam Duvall in the same kind of space. And then I really, really, really would like to see the Phillies go after Jurickson Profar. I think he is a surefire guy that's going to get dealt. He's not going to cost you anything. He has been mashing lefties, and he is the perfect guy. If you are looking for somebody to supplant Josh Harrison, that's the guy you want because he's a switch hitter, covers every position under the sun, and he's mashing lefties. What more could you want?
That's a good point. How what's his stats looking like this year?
They're terrible. He's also playing really, really bad left field, but that's where he's played most with Colorado. He is, however, crushing left-handed pitching, and I think that if the Phillies acquired him, that is mostly what he would face. So it's mostly a pinch hitter scenario or a defensive replacement scenario. But
what's the situation with you mentioned Dylan Carlson? The only reason I ask that is because that has Brandon Marsh vibes in the sense that it's a younger guy that you could sign longer because he's arbitration eligible next year. So
whoa. Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan. I misread this Dodgers and Tigers deal. Eduardo Rodriguez instituted his no trade clause, so they are not trading. They are not trading Rodriguez to the Dodgers. The Tigers are not. That's not happening.
Erod's still on though it doesn't involve us anymore. But no, so Erod is not a Dodger.
Wow, that's really fascinating. I don't know why he would do that.
Now. Well, yeah, that's very interesting. Unless he does he intend to? I would have thought that Eduardo Rodriguez is interesting because of his contract. He has an opt-out after this year. He's owed about $50 million for the next 3 years, and that adds this weird element of very minor but very possible risk to the contract. Because if he were to get injured in a playoff game, for example, you'd be on the hook for $49 million, and then he needs to go and miss half of next season or whatever, and you don't know what sort of player you're going to get back. Now, for the Dodgers, that might not be a huge amount, but for any team, $49 million is still a big chunk. He's an interest, and you'd assume, I mean, if you're a gambling man, the chances are he's probably not going to get injured, and he'll probably want to opt out if he doesn't get injured. I know, and he does have an injury history as well, and a bit of a checkered history. It's a really interesting trade if you go after him, and his situation is an interesting one.
It's not that he has an injury history; he has a health history.
Yeah.
So it could be that if this is happening, I don't know anything when it comes to Eduardo Rodriguez and his life and anything like that, but maybe he is concerned about his health, and maybe he would just prefer to stay and pitch in Detroit. I mean, Detroit is a really pitching friendly park.
Yeah, it is.
And if you're going to put up good numbers anywhere, it's going to be at Detroit. So
he has a 10-team no trade clause apparently.
He does.
So there are 20 teams that he couldn't reject. That's really interesting. And there must be a reason. Maybe there's a familial reason why he doesn't want to live in California. I don't know.
Who knows? That is exactly what I am.
Just getting into the comments.
Yeah.
Sorry, just getting into the comments on YouTube. Plenty of people get involved. So if you're watching, guys, get them in. I can see YouTube comments, Twitter ones I'm struggling with, but at the moment, Corey says he would like Bader. Bader here as well. Bader could be better with a change of scenery. That's a point because New York is not the best of places to play at the moment, is it? Yankee Stadium it's the atmosphere there as well. Just it all seems off. All seems very off.
It'd be lovely to get someone that was capable of playing a bit of center field. I mean, I don't know what Bader's. Don't know what his. Alex probably knows better than me.
He does play center. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just so then if you're using Marsh in center, you can spell Marsh with the righty. It's a really interesting dynamic.
That is also a reason why they might want to acquire Adam Duvall. He has more flexibility, and Tommy Pham as well. They both have experience in center field. Duvall is probably the better fielder, but they both have experience in center field. And I would think that the idea here is if they're going to acquire multiple players, maybe it is just one, but if they're going to acquire multiple players, one of those players will be one of the guys that can split time in center field when you really want to put the hurt on a pitcher. Yeah, I like Dylan Carlson as well.
Is he 26?
He's
25. He's arbitration eligible. He's a downward ebb where the Cardinals might be thinking similar to the Angels were with Marsh. This is a guy that hasn't quite developed the way that we expected. We got loads of outfielders. I don't know what he'd cost, but I'd certainly be picking up the phone and having the conversation.
Given what rental bats have garnered in this market, I would love to, because the Phillies they have room to add 3. We went over this last week, but
Yep.
They can demote Jake Cave, they can DFA Josh Harrison, and then the spot that they have opened
But
up.
Pache's to come back, isn't he? So he'll take one spot, won't he?
Sure, but I would think that that can be pushed off. Honestly, if they are going to use Rojas in Pache's spot, or Rojas just gets demoted, and then when Pache comes up, so they're going to have the space to add 3 bats, and I truly think that if they were to, I don't think they'll add 3, but I think if they added 2, like if they added 1 Adam Duvall, 1 Tommy Pham, if they added 1, whatever, there is enough room to make way for certain guys. And Tommy Pham does not have to play every day. Adam Duvall does not have to play every day, right? I think there's enough room. And given what rental bats have garnered on this market, I really would like them to do that. I think that it will formidably up their offense versus left-handers, as well as the amount of thump that they are going to want down the stretch. I really think that would be wise.
And Muzziotti, like we said last podcast and then the podcast before, there's no room for him.
I still think he's out the door before this hour is out. I still think that
1 hour to go. Trade deadline will slam shut in 1 hour's time, and we will know the roster going down the stretch into a favorable on paper August for the Phils, and of course September. Go on, Alex.
I also think that one team to watch still, maybe their acquisition of a starting pitcher has changed things. One team to watch is very much the St. Louis Cardinals. I think that I would be shocked if the Phillies and Cardinals got through this next hour without making one trade. I would be shocked.
So other than Colson, who would you see the Phils going for?
I think any of their relievers, namely Ryan Helsley. I think the Phillies will really, and if they do go for multiple, position players, right? Maybe Dylan Carlson is one of those guys, right? Switch hitter, again, covers center field, gives you some options, right? So, and he has also been crushing lefties this year. So I think that would be a really interesting thing to watch. I just think that I would be very surprised if they got through this hour without making a deal. I feel comfortable enough to say that. But I also think the Phillies in general will probably go after a bullpen piece. And I think names to watch are Scott Barlow, Ryan Helsley, and I guess that's mostly it. A lot of the right-handed bullpen arms are really off the table.
What's Helsley's contract situation like? Do you know,
Alex? Is arbitration eligible for 2 more years after.
Yeah,
this.
2 more years.
2.5 years of control.
Now. Yep.
So he's
29 years old.
He
3.24 ERA. Yeah, he's having a nice year. And Cardinals seem to be in full sell mode right now.
I don't know if you remember him last year, Dave, but he is the guy. He is.
Yeah. He was filthy last year. He got.
There you go. Josh Harrison's been designated for assignment, so there is one space opened up.
So this is it. Who's coming? That's got to be a sign of the moon, surely.
This is the Michael Lorenzen transaction.
Yeah, sorry.
So, Helsley got injured earlier in the season this year, and then sort of went out the closer's role as Hicks came in, and a few others started vulturing some saves, and he's been working his way back in. So yeah, he's an interesting one, and he'd be one that if he's healthy, I'd want him beyond this year.
I like it. Looking at his stats and his advanced stats, he's a good fit. He's a really good fit for this Phil's bullpen. Let's Dave Dombrowski, come on, we get it done. Let's get it done. Phil Zatley says, "Is Tyler O'Neill an option? Do we reckon Tyler O'Neill? I can't see it being an option now. Maybe possibly a week ago.
I don't get. I mean, I'm still interested by this. O'Neill plays right field mainly, right? I mean, I'm still interested by this.
O'Neill plays center field as well.
Center.
Can he? Okay,
yep.
All right. Well,
he's really good there too.
Again, then if he can play center as well, then I'm fine. He's a power bat. He's someone that's had a down year. He's not an average guy, but he's a slugger. So no, I wouldn't be against it, but I'm still interested to know how the Cardinals view themselves, because I don't imagine that they think that they're necessarily out of anything next season. This season, sure. but it's not like the ball club is in a complete disastrous position. They got talent there, and it's not a great division. So I don't think
They've
they're
got
going to be
Arenado and
selling
Goldie
everything.
there, haven't they? You know, they're
Exactly.
two big players.
So they're going to have to make a choice on which players they see as part of next season, and then they'll just be off the table.
Just waiting for the next, pass and bomb, which way. So the Phils have DFA. Harrison's gone. All the best to Harrison. He's a, cracking guy, great career.
Guy.
Where he'll end up next, who knows? But it does then create a bench spot. I know Lorenzen. Unless Lorenzen is going in the outfield. Who knows?
Yeah, no.
I am definitely joking, folks. Let's. Although he wouldn't be bad, but no.
Who's the last pitcher to hit a home run for the Phillies?
Kyle
World
Gibson.
Series. In the World
Oh,
Series.
Joe Blanton.
Joe Blanton. That's what we need. We need Lorenzen to start, and we need him in the lineup as well, because now obviously we don't have the hitter. We need both. Full Ohtani mode, Lorenzen, home run.
I would assume, and this is not really assuming as much as it is, this is definitely going to happen. There is a bat coming because the Phillies are not going to designate a bat and not add a bat.
And Covey's still on the roster as well.
It's true.
Surely. As someone says, Phil's Utley 26 just put in the chat as well on YouTube. No way Covey survives after this trade deadline on the roster, right?
I mean, there's a way. There is a way. There absolutely is a way.
Hey, what happened with Noah Song? Because they just did he end up anyways? He gone back to Boston?
Nobody knows yet. He is still in limbo. If he
It'll
is
be
not
his
traded,
likely landing point now, wouldn't
if
it?
he is not traded by 6:00, he is going to get placed on waivers, and that is going to mean that after he clears, Boston's allowed to buy him back. If he clears, he will still come with Rule 5 protections placed on him for whatever. If a team
Right.
him.
It still sounds so complicated.
I just assume he hasn't pitched enough. Like when we were talking about him the other day, it's just such an he's talented, but it's such an unlikely story for someone that hasn't pitched that much in all those years. I mean,
well, also if Harrison DFA'd, it would mean Stott would now surely play more every day against lefties.
I mean, I don't think that was ever stopping them, but they definitely won't feel pressured to play the veteran more frequently. If that's
This is Alex. Don't get our hopes up here.
Nothing.
Minutes.
Whatever's going on, I want to keep the positivity rolling here, but the Pittsburgh series sent me west. To be honest, I couldn't.
Mate,
I hear that.
Pittsburgh series, the first 2 innings last night sent me spiraling, mate. I'm not gonna lie. I had to get some sleep.
I'm sorry. Sunday, I was not watching that. That 10th inning on Sunday was one of the most car crash bits. To have runners on second and third with nobody out.
And the amount of
how do you lose? How do you not score a run? Let alone
just think, was it Jim Clark? Somebody posted today the Phils have this incredible record since the beginning of June, and that's with Casty slumping, Turner being abysmal so far, Bryce being nowhere near up to his full Bryce Harper, JT's not having a great year, Noda hasn't had a great year, and we're still got this incredible. If you get those guys catching fire down the stretch, good night. The Phils are off. The Phils are top one.
I know that Nola hasn't had his best year, but the offense almost needs to catch up with the pitching because we're not actually allowing many runs. We're in the top third of MLB.
Great. Yeah,
the pitching staff has been unbelievable.
We just need a few of these guys in the top 6 of the order to catch fire. 3 or 4 of them at the same time.
Right. If Trey gets going, that will be like a new signing completely. Because we haven't seen Trey Turner yet.
I don't even want him to get going. I just want him to do a little bit.
Get on base.
And I don't want to hate on Trey. And it just seems so I hated that it was his fly out in the 10th as well that Harper got. It wasn't Harper's fault initially. It was Bomb, I think, who was the base running was just shocking. He wasn't paying attention, but
story of the season. And the fundamentals has been frustrating as well for the Phils. The baseball defense. Come on, Brandon Marsh let that one go under his glove in the outfield. 3 runs scored, made up for it last night with a great catch. I love Alec Bowman, the 2-hole. I think that worked great, and he's there again tonight.
And they keep coming back. I mean, that was
place.
such a big win last night. It feels as well like every game recently has been close.
Yep.
Like I would just like a 9-0 victory one night. Just
Either
crush
way.
someone. Like,
One day. But
I can't take it.
yeah, so this is I'm assuming that this is where we're headed, especially given the Josh Harrison DFA.
Here we
So
go.
I think where we're going to start seeing things, I think that it's less likely now that they make a bullpen addition than it was at the start of the day. That being said, I still think they are going to try and take advantage of what they have to sell, the Phillies, and see if they can pull a deal around what they have to sell for a bullpen piece. I think that's probably what we're looking at here. And then I also think we're going to see them acquire at least one right-handed bat. If not two, I do think they'd be wise to grab two. I'm not sure if that's something that they will do, but
So here we go, folks. The Phil
and we will have it all for you. We'll have it all for you.
Todd Zalecki saying Lorenzen will start on Thursday for the Phils,
Great.
Which would give Nola extra rests.
I'm assuming so, because actually a really great again, Rob Orr, who does incredible work on Twitter. If you don't follow him. But Robert Orr said Nola's career ERA with 4 days of rest is 4.32. This is career ERA. Nola's career ERA with 4 days of rest is 4.32. With 5 plus 3.16.
Now, Nola in his last outing was not helped by the defense. Yeah, Nola wasn't.
He was pretty bad. He was pretty mediocre.
Yeah, actually, Nola wasn't. It wasn't his finest game. The defense behind him capped it all off. That was just one of those games that just horrible.
I think that there's something to this whole. I'm seeing people toss around the stomach virus kind of like theory, because Chris Sanchez was pulled because he was not feeling great. Yeah. Aaron Nola has a really bad game against a really bad team, and maybe Taijuan Walker's velocity is down yesterday. I think maybe there was something going through the clubhouse. Who's to say? But
maybe
that's just pure speculation. I really don't know. But that it does seem odd that their last 3 starts they've had something wonky go on with all of their starters.
Yeah,
it's pretty odd.
Feels Utley says in the chat, Lorenzen will start Thursday. Good rest for Nola. Yes, that we know they're getting next day's rest. Going into the Royals. The Royals come to town. In fact, Philly, I think, have 19 home games of the next 21 games. Huge.
Yeah.
Wow. For the Phils and all teams that we really should be beating, starting with the Royals this weekend. And that should be a sweep. I'm sorry, but the Royals are absolutely diabolical. Yeah. I know we want series wins and keep rolling, but when you got an opportunity to sweep like the Rules, you have
Bobby Witt is heating up at the wrong time. He is really heating up.
Their offense is actually got some nice bits. I mean, obviously Salvador Perez and Michael Garcia.
Well, we'll see. If
it could be traded.
Well, true. Michael Garcia is pretty interesting. They got some interesting pieces.
Michael Garcia is really interesting.
I think I saw about 10 minutes ago the Marlins were checking in on Perez, and so were the Cubs. I couldn't quite get the full tweet, but I think
I still don't think the Royals. He is their glue. He is their rock. He is everything to them. If they sell him, because that franchise is in a really bad way right now. They are really not doing well.
It's a never-ending rebuild, isn't it?
Bobby Witt's doing great, but they have no top 100 prospects in like any list. Like at all. Like none of their prospects are very good at all. So they really need to sell where they can and just start drafting better. Because they are in a really bad way right now.
We seem to have a bit of a lull right now after a frantic few hours where I'm gonna
remind everybody that lots of deals get done like in the 30 minutes after the deadline as well.
When is Pache due back? Just out of interest, before I make my next point, is he due back?
There's no set date. They said 4 to 6 weeks was the approximate recovery time.
He's still on 10-day IL, isn't he?
Okay.
But he also 15, yeah. But he could also.
Okay.
I think if they wanted to, they could send him for a rehab assignment in AAA to have him not come back. If he does come back, Johan Rojas is going down because that's a redundancy.
Oh,
Having both of
do
them.
Do we really think that? Is that
It's,
gonna happen?
yes, 100%. Unless they don't make the deals that I'm expecting them to make.
I just read that the Rays are shopping Manuel Margot. I wonder whether that would be an interesting fit for the
That
Phillies.
could be interesting. I mean, it's a little bit the same of what they have. It's a little
That's why I asked about Pache, because that's a
could be.
Either
way,
turning into an everyday starter. Like, are we? You got
Dave
to
loves Rojas. Look at Dave.
He-
I
look
do.
And
listen, Johan.
I've been
respect
captain of that ship for 6 years now. But the one thing that I really think is important for him is that he still needs time in AAA. The bat needs to develop. He's not ready yet. And as great as he is with his glove,
Is it not ready though?
No.
Like
it's not ready. It's not. His max exit velocity at the major league level has been like 100 or so. And that's just not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it.
2 home runs tonight. You watch.
Well, listen, I'd be happy to eat crow if because he's just not that kind of guy that he can skip a level and just be good. He's not that kind of guy.
He is that kind of guy, Alex.
No, Sandy Alcantara. I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but
it is Sandy tonight. He's not.
I
feel like he always beats the Phillies.
No, what do you mean?
Opposite.
They've knocked him. They've knocked him.
Is it the opposite?
Around.
Okay,
they've
right.
knocked him
Sandy
around
against
over
the
there.
Phils, yeah.
Oh, it's the opposite. Well, he's had a tough year, so sorry, I got that the wrong way. Well, great. Let's crush him again then.
So let's talk about this Jake Burger deal. I really want to talk about it.
Okay, let's get to the league. I've got Marlins and Mets. Well, actually, first of all, I'll quick fire the teams who aren't doing much who are also around us. D-backs have only got so far Paul Sewald. Good deal, but D-backs aren't really strengthening.
They
I wonder
also
about
traded
watching what the
Andrew
Dodgers are doing now and seeing how tough
Hang
the
on,
wild
didn't
card race
I
is.
thought the D-backs traded for Andrew Chafin as well.
No,
did I not?
they traded
Oh,
away
Brewers.
Andrew Chafin.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
Brewers
right.
got Chafin, which is interesting.
The Diamondbacks traded.
Yeah,
Andrew Chafin.
Right, okay.
that
Yeah.
screams to me like we're not quite fully in yet because they've seen what the Dodgers are now doing. They're seeing how close it is around, and maybe they're just pulling back a little bit.
I think that's
the
silly.
Brewers have got Chafin and Kana. The Reds done anything? I'm not seeing the Reds pull one move yet.
No.
That could really cost them
think
the Central.
A lot of what's probably happening there is that they are trying to get starting pitching, and that just might be holding up. First of all, they don't have a lot of offensive holes. They really don't. They have a lot of
Such a good young team.
They have got a lot of solutions in their system.
I think that Eduardo Rodriguez, this is my theory, I think he's turned down the Dodgers because he thinks that the Baltimore Orioles are going to come chasing him, and he knows that deal. I think he's going to go to Baltimore because there's no way, if Baltimore, with their prospect pipeline, if they don't make a move tonight in the position that they're in, that makes no sense to me.
Right, but
that
why,
makes no sense.
Why would he care about the prospect return?
No, I don't think he cares about the prospect return. I
Uh-huh.
think for some reason LA is on his list of no trade. That's probably because he doesn't want to go out west, I would assume. It would have to be geographical, I would assume. So that wipes out Arizona. And
Could
I just
be.
think that perhaps the East Coast is a better fit for him. You know, he's been in Boston before. He's in Detroit. He obviously likes this corner of the world. He's got a family reason. He's going to go to Baltimore tonight. That's my theory.
With Berger being sold, I think Cease is gone. And I think what is happening right now is that the Reds, Orioles, and probably Dodgers are just bidding. I think they're just bidding and trying to get him.
Really interesting for the Dodgers because they had a very quiet offseason. Went below the luxury tax, which is unusual for them.
They just want Shohei Ohtani.
And I think, yeah, exactly. I think they were saving for the big offseason.
That's what they want.
Shohei this time. But the Dodgers, I don't think we're quite expecting to be where they are at this point in the season. I think they sort of thought with no offseason acquisitions of, we may scrape a wild card. We're going to save our chips for when Ohtani comes on the table in the free agency. All of a sudden, they found themselves narrowly, albeit top of the NL West at the moment, and go, you know what? Let's have another go. They don't need many pieces, to be honest, and they're filling the holes they need nicely. It was pitching depth, and they're getting it now. Very interesting what the Dodgers are doing. Yeah, Dylan Cease, I think, is going to be a goner. Robert is being kept prisoner at the White Sox. They're They're not.
Salvi Perez is in the lineup tonight, so I think you can count out a trade for the Royals there.
Well,
Right.
they could scratch him. Jake Berger was also in the White
could,
Sox lineup, so they
Oh, really?
could,
That's so
Really?
late for him to be in the lineup, and that's crazy.
They could
Interesting.
scratch him, but
That is crazy.
Before we get to the Mets and Marlins, Braves
Whoa.
got any news?
The White Sox are getting Luis Patino from the Rays, which is wild because Patino was like a really highly hyped prospect for a time.
Now, the Rays were searching some outfield back first help, so I wonder if they're getting any of that back from.
I don't know.
Who's going the other way against
so.
the Rays?
Patino's. I don't know.
Well, you guys are finding out. Braves Brad Hand, who has now played the first ever player to play for all 5 NL teams.
So
Brad
funny.
Hand he is a solid.
Is he the first ever?
Yeah. Apparently, it's like the first ever player to play.
Didn't Jose Bautista make the rounds? No,
is this? It could be pitcher first ever.
Or did he
pitcher.
only get 4?
It was first ever something to play for all 5 NL East teams. I think
That's
it was
cool.
Player. So somebody in the comments will back us up on that one. Padres have Rich Hill and G-Man Choi is actually not having a bad season. He was good against us, but Rich Hill, the 43-year-old's gone to San Diego. The Padres that's a bit of a lame all-in.
The Pirates kind of botched that deal too. It just feels like they acquired what they were selling. They got a soft tossing lefty back for Rich Hill and a quadruple A first baseman. Yeah, it's wow.
And the Cubs, who went on that winning streak to make themselves buyers, bought Candelario for Nationals, who I think is just riding a hot streak. I'm not too sure. The Cubs aren't going to get. I don't see the Cubs being there at the end of the season.
They're just trying. I honestly, I love this. I think this landscape is awesome for baseball, and I think that the fact that so many teams are trying
like the Angels
is awesome.
Yeah, but some of it, I agree with you. But the trying is nice. But if there's a low percentage chance that you're going to make the playoffs, then you got to. I think did the Angels lose their damn minds? Like I respected the first one. And then when I saw Crone and Grichuk, and I'm just like, you lost your damn mind.
No, I think it's the right idea. I think they are.
But still, you've just blown up your farm system. Like as soon as Ohtani goes, that's it.
But they are pinning everything on re-signing Ohtani. They want to keep Ohtani.
Yeah, but they're always doing that in the postseason. I'm sorry, they Grichuk
and I think they might
to put you in because there's so many good teams. Like the Astros are going to get a wild card spot because the Rangers are going to win that division.
They got
the
trade, the first trade, and then Taylor Ward got hurt, and they literally went, "Oh shit!"
It's just like the NL East, though. I think that because the AL Central is so bad, and the AL East, everyone is competitive. So they're really only competing with the other teams in the
Red
AL
Sox,
East.
Yankees.
That's really all
Mariners
they're competing
are probably
with.
out of it now.
Because the Guardians are a dumpster fire. The entire AL Central is a dumpster fire. But like they're really only competing with the AL East. And that's
come on. The Angels are not beating the Rangers or the Astros in a playoff series.
I don't know. I would not put my money on any team that is fighting against Shohei Ohtani.
No, I hear
After seeing what happened at the World Baseball Classic, I will never bet against Shohei Ohtani.
I respect it to an extent, but then there is a part of me that the sort of more logical side of my brain says, I think you've gone a little bit nuts.
I'm weird.
Logically, it's silly in terms of like long-term success. It is.
At the moment Ohtani's gone, that's it. Angels are irrelevant for the next 10 years.
It's not an Angels podcast, but they're in this weird situation where they were never really rebuilding and they were never really all in. So they're in this sort of like weird fog in the middle. So it's all a bit of a car crash, and it has been for about 20 years. So,
but what is really interesting is what Dave is pointing out. The National League, the other fringe wildcard teams, Giants have done nothing. Reds have done very little.
The Giants had some peripheral pieces, didn't they?
AJ Pollock doesn't really move the needle for me.
I did say peripheral pieces.
So I think that it's really, really interesting to see what is going on with the National League. I don't know. I'm very keen to see what this next hour has entailed, but I do think that this Jake Berger deal is gonna be.
Okay, cool, Alex. I know you
I want to talk about it. I want to talk
Why
about
do
it.
you like
Let's go,
Jake
Alex, go
Berger?
on.
so
I
much?
don't. That's the thing. So I think that so here's the deal. He is in the when you look at his baseball savant page, and I'm not trying to be a baseball savant head, but
I've done more walking than this guy in the last day.
well, he is. But okay, so he is the Marlins version of Kyle Schwarber, right? He's a right-handed Kyle Schwarber. But he doesn't walk as much. That's red flag number one.
Correct.
I think that you look at this page, he's in like the top 8% of average exit velocity. He's in the top 100%. He's in the top 1% of max exit velocity, top 1% of barrel percentage. So he is, obviously when he makes contact, he hits the ball really freaking hard. But I mean, I'm looking at his walk percent, his strikeout percent, chase rate, whiff rate, and I'm in shock. I mean, this is like such a risky play for the Marlins. I think it's a good play now, but he's also hitting, I think, like 160 something since June 1st. So
I think personally, Alex, they don't view it as a risky play because they don't view Jake Hader for them as anything more than a sort of probably a long man in the bullpen because the pitching is so deep and they've got the ability to rid of it, and maybe they think that Hader's got injury issues or he's not quite going to make it in the rotation. So I'm not that keen on Berger personally. I think that's a car crash waiting to happen.
For the Marlins.
He might do all right this year.
I know Pete Pratt will be losing his mind over it, but I don't see it as a.
Well, Pete Pratt seems to think that Garrett Cooper's going somewhere tonight.
But listen, based on, I mean, he could.
He might because they have Yuli. Well, they have Gurriel as well, and if these are all first base bats, and someone's got to move.
But I really do think that it is for the immediate future. It is an interesting move. It gives them a lot of power. I mean, that Jorge Soler and Jake Berger in the same lineup, that's a lot of, now it's a lot of strikeouts. It's a lot of, mediocrity from time to time, but it's also a lot of power. And I think that's what they need. So it's very, to me, it reminds me very much of when Atlanta acquired Jorge Soler in 2021. His stat line is very similar. So we will see what happens there, but I like it in the immediate future. I hate it in the long term.
One of the comps that I've just seen for Jake Berger, and I think this is accurate, Patrick Wisdom. I mean, that's the sort of guy that it is. It's a load of swing and miss, loads of power.
Colton Wong is also on the move. Apparently, he is on Hug Watch at this moment in time.
It's all got 35 minutes until it shuts. We're getting close.
Just remember, a lot of deals will be announced after the deadline too. So
yeah, I'm looking at what everyone else is doing as it stands. I still think we're in a great position in this wild card race. I really, especially like I said, if our guys really do start to get going, which they surely with the talent in this team are going to do at some point. My phone is lighting up with notifications, but it's just stuff we already know. Pham is now definitely on the move somewhere. Where's his destination going to be? We're going to find out the next hour or so.
I'm going to say Twins. I think he's going to the Minnesota Twins.
Ryan?
Yeah. I think what's going on in the NL, I could be wrong. The NL is basically saying the Atlanta Braves are so good that we're not any of us
I don't think
any of us are willing to go crazy to try and there's nothing that anyone I don't think there's anything that the gap to the Atlanta Braves in a trade deadline.
I don't think that's true at all. I think that everybody saw what happened with the Phillies last year.
I was going to say, yeah.
That's why
you can win a series.
Yeah.
You can win a series. I'm not saying that they're unbeatable. You can
all
win
that matters
a series
is you
against
get in.
them. I agree with that, but they're still strong favorites in any playoff series that they play.
They were last year too.
They are strong. They are far and away the strongest team in the NL. We agree there, surely.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a reason to not be active at a trade deadline. I think any team that thinks that the goal is getting in. Nobody is shying away from buying because one team is far and away the best regular season team. That doesn't matter. All that matters is you get in. That's that's the end goal is to get in, and then
that the magic happen.
Well, which NL team is going crazy, sending top prospects all over?
The only team at all that's gone crazy going all in is the Angels.
Angels, isn't it? And the Rangers. The Rangers have gone heavy as well.
Sure.
They
Houston, only sent off Luis Angel Acuna.
No, Houston sent
Rangers are now talking to Austin Hedges.
But those are just one acquisition. That's not going crazy. That's just getting us.
They're going. Yeah, but getting Justin Verlander is a bit different to getting Michael Lorenzen. With all due respect.
No, I completely agree. But they're not going crazy and going all in. Getting Max Scherzer cost the Rangers Luis Angel Acuna. Cost them one prospect.
Didn't they get Montgomery as well? Didn't they?
Yeah, they got that. That is true. They have really, they've bolstered themselves. But I don't think any team is being shy.
So the Rangers are talking to Austin Hedges. Breaking news. So the Rangers are really. It's good. What a good story for the Texas Rangers, because they were a team who've slowly built themselves back up, and all of a sudden they're having a great year. Thank God we've played them already at the start of the season. Had that series done and done with.
Well, Austin Hedges isn't really very good.
Oh no, I'm not saying
good
Hedges, but
receiver.
That pitching for Texas now is something else.
Really.
JT's been scratched.
Is Jonah Heim hurt? Or?
Jonah Heim is hurt.
Yesterday, didn't he? Yeah, he cut his hand quite badly open. Stubbsy will get a drag bunt somewhere.
Jonah Heim is hurt, so they went out and grabbed Hedges. Is the general consensus there? Yeah. Okay. So John Heyman has once again tweeted that the Twins are looking for right-handed bats and that Tommy Pham is a possibility. I think that probably locks that one up. I think Pham is going to the Twins for sure.
Okay, what's wrong with JT Realmuto?
He scratched his hand last night sliding into base and cut it. He opened up a blister, didn't he? They put a lot of blood coming last night.
Yeah, it was bleeding.
It's going to the Mets then while we're in a bit of a lull. They won't be competing this year or next year. They've gone all in on prospects. It's prospects. It's like it's a gamble with prospects.
Oh, how the mighty fall!
Verlander to the Astros, Cano to the Brewers, Scherzer to the Rangers, Pham's off to looks like the Twins.
What they are doing?
They've got some prospects in, but you've still got to get what you can out the prospects, and the Mets don't have a great history of getting that much out the prospects either.
Wow.
The Mets. The ever laughing story goes on.
Yeah, I mean, in sports, one of the crazy things that's same in soccer in a lot of ways. If you have a lot of money, then you can often pay your way out of some of your major mistakes, and that's what I hate watching Chelsea sell players to Saudi Arabia for more money than they paid for them, even though they just had 2 years of car crash football, or they just swallow the contract. So what the Mets are doing is they've just committed if Verlander's his vested option gets vested and he pitches 120 innings plus next year, they've just committed to pay $80 million for Scherzer and Verlander to pitch for other teams.
Yep.
In return for prospects. Now, I would say that, some of my friends in some of my fantasy leagues would just say, well, if you drafted better in the first place, you wouldn't need to pay $80 million to go and get other people's prospects. And that's easy to do. But this is crazy stuff. Personally, I understand the Scherzer deal and I like Luis Angel Acuna and I can get that. But to me, $54 million to send Verlander out to play for someone else, to me, I'd rather use that $54 million just to pay Verlander next year, because I don't think that the Mets are going to be so awful next year that somehow Verlander wouldn't be useful to them next year. He's still I don't get it.
Because Scherzer went into the front office, asked what's going on with the trade of Kana, and all of a sudden he's gone and wages no trade hours
It
later.
might not have been as straightforward as what's
No,
going on with the trade.
And then Verlander's gone to the front office and asked what's going on. And all of a sudden, he's then waived his no trade claim and out the door he goes. So I just wonder, if Steve Cohen in the back of his mind is starting to regret ever getting involved in with
No,
the Mets.
I think the idea.
Deep
So
pockets.
they mentioned Max Scherzer just had a press conference in Texas, and he mentioned that what Billy Epler said to him was that they are aiming more to be competitive in 2026 than they are
really?
in.
That'll go down really well in New York. Yeah.
Well, so that's
Frank,
well,
I can't wait to see his video.
2025 is actually what he said.
Okay.
But they are aiming to be more competitive than next year. So the timeline didn't match up. So they both got dealt. And I think that is what it is. I think it is, honestly, I think what they're doing is really smart. I think that this pivot into the seller's market they have done really well with these trades. These are great prospects. I think it's hilarious, but I also think it is smart. And honestly, when you have all of the money that they have to spend, in 2025, where it's a huge free agency class, and you are going to be able to back that up with a bought farm system, but albeit a really good farm system that they are well in progress of building. I think they will be formidable then. But for now, we get to laugh at them.
Yeah, they're also relying on their current players now also sustaining being good through then as well. Like
they don't really have a lot of players signed through them.
They've got some players that are like Alvarez, Beatty, Vientos, Mauricio's on the way through, and then the guys that they've just signed as well. So I agree that 2025 doesn't look a disaster, but the idea that they're going to hold back before 2025 and not go and spend a whole load of money in free agency next year is barkers, because they will. That Cohen won't be able to help himself, and the fan base will force him to. So if they go and sign, let's just say Aaron Nola next year to some big 5-6 year contract, what happens if he doesn't pitch well? Do they then go to Houston next year and say, "Can we have your best prospect, please? And we'll pay $50 million of the contract because we don't want him anymore"?
I mean, it's when you have all the money in the world, it's not
a bad
plan.
Keep doing it.
It could be an endless cycle.
It's not a bad plan. Listen,
they could do it.
They could, and it would. I'm sure free agents wouldn't exactly love seeing that become a repetitive thing. I think free agents right now are looking at this and saying, "This doesn't look great to me." But I think it's smart. I do. I think that if you have this money to play with, why not? Why not just go out, sign as many guys as you can?
They will. They will, because there's no way that the New York fans will allow them to spend 2 years in the wilderness with no team to speak of. Like right. That's not going to happen. It's different. When Philly stunk for a while, it was different because they stunk because they had contracts that were not like Ryan Howard. They had contracts that they couldn't get rid of, so they had to stink with Maber. When we went through the offense, that was the years that were horrible. We don't even want to think about for that decade. But
2013, 14, 15.
That was a bit different because it feels like, I don't know, New York. This just feels like a strange situation of someone that's got more money than sense.
Yeah, I don't fully trust Cohen knows what he's doing.
He's not the one running the show, though.
That's true, but
he's just writing the checks,
Mets, isn't it? It's the New York.
He has all the money in the world. Like he can sign whoever he wants. They're just, little toys for him. So, it's. I don't know. I think that it is really smart what they're doing, but I also think it's very hilarious.
It's going to be an interesting team that turns up at London next year for the London series with the Mets. It'll, it's interesting. Just over 20 minutes to go until the deadline officially shuts. The Phils start in an hour as well. Game 2 against the Marlins, as we just said, against Sandy Alcantara. Good win for the Phils last night. Much needed after a shaky start. Walker, velo was down. Horrible first inning. We all got really worried. Is he going to get through 4 or 5 innings?
I was really scared. Yeah,
it was a lot of walks from Cabrera. Marlins pitching's just sort of, we could have really punished him. We should have punished him. The walks that have been given out, we should have been 6-7 ahead by the 4th inning. Bone came through. I'm just so glad, and I hope he sustains this. That we've got a want in the lineup of Schwarber and Bone. Schwarber, by the way, what a couple of series he's having. The Pirates, it was a good series for him personally.
Yeah.
A lot of walks, a lot of on base, big hits. Again yesterday, got on base, I think twice. Got on base twice, a couple of walks again. So Schwarber, with him on base, Bone pushing him up, and then Harper. He's still got a big hit in him. May not go out the park, but he can still again advance the runners. The Phils slowly, even though we are now into August and still trying to fiddle the lineup, trying to get something going. We're starting to get there. Stott's up high up the lineup now. I like that. I think he's in the 5-hole tonight. I don't know where the updated lineup is. Oh, it's just here actually. So where's Stubbs gone into JT? So Stubbs is 8, Rojas 9. So Turner's up. Turner and Marsh go up 1. But Turner, it's got to come right. We need it. There's nothing else we can do, is there? We've pushed him. We've given him days rest. We've pushed him down the lineup. It's now a wait and see, isn't it, on Trey Turner? Just when finally it clicks for him.
Yep, I really like that they have dropped him down. I think that's the right way to go. Let him get a little bit more comfortable. See if you can unlock him for the remainder of the second half. Also, I don't think this is anything of significance, but Pete Alonso says he has not spoken to the front office about the possibility of being traded. Alonso's under team control only through next season. That is from Anthony Zacomo.
I was going to say, yeah, we're about to get a flurry. We need to pan now because I feel we're going to get a flurry. A flurry of action.
I think you're
20 minutes, half an hour, surely. My Pete Pratt from Miami Marlins says sensational. Kim does it again. Jake Berger, legit infield.
Oh, they're gonna hate him. I'm really.
I don't. I don't know. I think the Marlins are caught in being biased for once, being in the wild card mix. Where do you see us going? This wild card. I still think we take the top spot. I'm not being arrogant, but I still think the talentless team will come through. We take this top spot in the wild card.
I think it really
is wild. Is absolutely wild. I think the Brewers are going to win that Central. Do I? I don't. I think they will. I think the Brewers are going to hold on. I think the Reds will get the other spot, and then the Giants will probably edge out the Marlins. I think the Cubs will fall away. I think the Reds may fall away. It's a young team. It's be tough for them to sustain. As the GOAT just put in the comments there, first spot is ours to lose. I agree with that. It'd be crazy if we didn't get first spot. But how do you two see this wild card race playing out?
I believe in the Reds. I think that the Reds are probably going to win that Central.
You think they can sustain a young team?
Yeah. I think they're really good. I think especially if they add a starting pitcher or maybe 2 before the deadline. Yeah, I think they are really good. They are special. They are really exciting. I believe that they will win the Central. I think Brewers probably get a spot. I think the Diamondbacks get a spot too, and then I think the Phillies get probably the Giants. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Giants haven't done anything either, which is insane. I don't know how they can stand pat here. And Farhan Zaidi is usually really active, so I'm surprised, at least with minor trades. And yeah, they made 1, but I'm really surprised. So we'll see. I just think I think the Phillies, Diamondbacks, and Brewers probably lock those up.
Ryan, how do you see it going?
Well, I think it's close. I think it's close.
It is.
I mean, it's literally close, but I'm finding it hard to separate some of the teams. And I love your enthusiasm. I think the Phillies will make it. I'm not bona fide. They'll be the first wildcard team, and it'll just be a walk-in. They're not giving the minute. They're not giving me the vibes of a team that if they swept the Pirates and they were playing good fundamental base, I have to judge it based on what I'm actually watching. And I don't want to bring the vibe down, but what I'm watching is a team that is got some good traits, but is very flawed and is making basic errors. I mean, some of that stuff that I watched at the weekend, that wasn't the stuff of a team that's filling me with great confidence. Now, I agree with Alex. Cincinnati, I think, are good, and I think they probably will pull away in that division. You know, Andrew Abbott's good. They got some
All
good
of them
pitching
are good.
already. I mean, I don't know whether Nick Lodolo's coming back, but if he's going to be healthy and he's going to pitch this year, then there's nothing to stop.
I hope he's coming back.
I hope he's
Are
going.
we done with the Reds this year?
I would assume so. They've seen them a lot.
Yeah,
I feel we are. Yeah, we are done with it. I can't see him on the list. So yeah, we are done.
Logically, my brain says that San Francisco should fall away slightly, but I'm too old now to ever write off the San Francisco Giants because I don't know how that ball club does it, but they seem to have a little bit of when they're in contention, they're pretty good at being in contention and they don't let it go. And they got Luis Matos, they got Marco Luciano, they got young players that are coming up, proving themselves, that are contributing. And I could see the Giants sticking around. I think the Giants and the Phillies are probably the two that I would think might stick around, and then it may be a shootout between Arizona, Miami, and Milwaukee for that last one.
Do we
don't
think the Padres are going to make up the ground, or do we think that's just too far back?
So. And
I don't understand why they made that trade today. I really don't. Rich Hill doesn't do anything for them. I don't understand. I really don't think
personally, I don't think the Cubs will either. I mean, I know they've had a nice run and all the rest of it, but
no,
I think that run put them in an awful situation. Again, it's a fan base thing. Yeah. The run made them buyers. And not huge buyers, but they bought Candelario. Yeah. They had to sort of show their fan base that they weren't giving up and keep Bellinger, and they had a great opportunity to go and add some young stuff and be better next year. They're not around. They're not a great team right now. I don't.
Right.
Yeah, I think they've missed out on Bellinger. I think they could have got a great haul for Bellinger and really made him a better, like you said, a better team next year. But where that division goes, because the Cards, they're not going to be down for long. They never are, the Cards.
No.
The Reds are getting good
next year. But I like the young teams. I like the Reds doing well, and I like baseball shifting and morphing into different things and changing over time. I love seeing Baltimore do well. You know, let's not forget Baltimore 5 years ago, 10 years ago. This was awful. It's been awful for ages. You know, it's great to see these teams slowly over time just morphing into something good. So it's an exciting season, I think.
Yeah, it's a really good season.
I would love to see the Orioles take that division. That would just be incredible, especially how far the Rays were at the start of the
Orioles
season.
Phillies World Series is the dream for me.
Can you imagine? All East Coast as well, fantastic for times. Camden Yards, both ballparks would be packed with mix of fans. There's only the 96 Derby. What would you call it? You know,
would
an hour and a half between them.
Yeah, that would be a classic World Series. I mean, I don't have an AL team. I'm a Phillies fan through and through, but my soft spot in the AL is for Baltimore. I think
it's for most people as well. And Camden Yards is a great ballpark. It's easy.
It's funny, you know. Some people have a bit of a dislike for Baltimore because of the TV rights issues with the Nationals Expos franchise and all the rest of it. They have issues with the ownership, so there's all that lingering. But I don't care about all that. I'm not from the area. I like Baltimore.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex, Orioles, as we pan for some trades, Orioles.
I love the Orioles. I think that they are very much akin to the Reds in that they are really fun. The craziest part about the Orioles is that I think that they have an opportunity in front of them to be the next super team. Truly, I think that they have the fan base to do it. When that fan base gets going, Baltimore loves the Orioles, and Camden Yards is a great park, obviously, but they have so much talent that I don't even know that they know what to do with it. I mean, they have some really incredible prospects in their system. Jackson Holliday is not far away. Obviously, we just saw firsthand how good that they have gotten without even reaching full strength yet. Cedric Mullins has been on the IL. Like
they're going to get Heston Kjerstad as well. I mean, this is crazy what they got in the pipeline.
I think Kjerstad could be on the move. I think if they're going to get a starting pitcher, he's going to be the
I think he might have been if it. I thought they might go hard after Verlander, but he seems
maybe they are right now. Dylan Cease could be on the way there. It's what. Come on, where is the trade? I thought this point in the show would be trade. On D-backs are acquiring Tommy Pham.
Wow.
So Pham goes to the D-backs.
Interesting.
They moved Rojas out last night in one of the trades, didn't Josh Rojas, was it, who left? So they had some ability to add a bat. So yeah, nice.
Well,
again,
it
doesn't strengthen the D-backs mightily, does it? It doesn't really scare me that they're going to challenge us.
I should remind you, Dave, that the list of potential trade acquisitions for us was Pham, Profar, Duval, Bader.
Oh, you're right. No, you are. You're quite right.
He was on the list. I'll just cross him off.
yeah, off your bingo card. He's off. He's gone.
At least we got a
Duval.
trade.
So it opens up Duval, Carlson, Bader. Unless the Phils are going left field with somebody that we haven't even discussed yet. Who knows? Dombrowski. Could be. Have the A's got anybody we can go and raid for?
Yes,
they
Laureano, do. Yeah, we said Laureano. We said Tony Kemp. We talked about a couple guys. They also have Brooks Raley, or not Brooks Raley. What's his name? The former Twins outfielder that was doing really well to this point. Oh, I can't remember. Somebody's gonna inform us in the comments.
Not me.
But, it's the one guy. It's not.
You got this, Alex. Come on.
Oh, come on. It starts with a B. I'll just look up their roster. Why not? But they have some guys that I wouldn't recommend the Phillies trade for because you're going to be paying exorbitant price tags. And the person I'm talking about, Brent Rooker. There we go. Brooks Raley, Brent Rooker, same thing. So they have Brent Rooker. I don't think that's a trade the Phillies are going to want to make. Orioles are close to acquiring Jack Flaherty. Interesting. There you go.
There we go. Now the stove's getting warm.
It's coming, folks. Dylan Cease is apparently likely to be traded.
Here we go. Well, 10 minutes until it closes, and then we'll see what deals we made after.
Flaherty, that's what the Orioles are doing. Oh no.
Yeah, I don't love that for them. Well, no, listen, it might not be their only move. That's the thing. But I would imagine that means the Reds are getting Dylan Cease, which is terrifying.
Oh, that means Cole Irvin will be off the roster. Oh, buddy Cole.
I mean, not necessarily.
Oh, no, he's not. He's a bullpen piece now, isn't he? He's not a starter anymore. Oh, Gibby. Sorry. What does that mean?
No, not Gibby. Gibby's been okay. I think that it means that a couple of their other kids that are starting games right now will probably get just option to AAA. Yeah. Okay. So this is really important, actually. So we are looking at the return for Tommy Pham right now, and it's Jeremy Rodriguez. Is that his actual name? Yeah, Jeremy Rodriguez. Rodriguez, I believe, was signed last year as part of the Diamondbacks signing period. No, wait. Is this? Oh, this is the wrong Jeremy Rodriguez. That would be why. Let me hold on.
Well, while you're doing that, Flaherty to the Orioles, that's a bit of a come down from Verlander, isn't it?
Well, I don't know Verlander had a no trade option for pretty much anywhere, so I don't know whether he would have even gone to Baltimore, to be honest. And obviously he knows Houston, but I thought Baltimore might got slightly higher. But so yeah, Flaherty's an interesting one, but it feels a little bit like he is kind of done.
Rodriguez is a 17-year-old with a 751 OPS. If that is the going rate for bats on the market right now, I think the Phillies should be all over grabbing, a couple at least. But we will see. It is going to come down to the wire here. I'm going to guess. I really do think that they are going to end up with Tyler O'Neill. I think that's what's going to happen here. I think now that the Cardinals have traded Jack Flaherty, I think they a lot of people, for whatever reason, haven't been mentioning Tyler O'Neill. I think the Cardinals have just been posturing. I think that they've been posturing and trying to maximize his value as much as possible. But I think he'll probably be
that's
the
a
guy.
pretty butchered up Cardinals team we're going to be facing in the end of August.
You better believe it. A pretty butchered up Mets team too.
Yeah, and we've got them. Yeah, the Cardinals, that game back to back with the Angels series looked pretty tough, but now the Cardinals have just had a horrible season and sort of blowing a semi blow up on their behalf now. That's going to be an interesting series, especially with Montgomery gone.
Yeah,
we've struggled against as well, and now Flaherty heading out. So we've got just 7 minutes until it closes, and then we'll see what deals come straight after.
We're going to find out. I have a feeling we are going to see. There's so much that still has to happen. I mean, really I don't think any of these, these oft mentioned pieces are not going to get moved. Like, let me think. There's like Cease. There's Teoscar Hernandez. Who that might happen. Teoscar might stay put. But Adam Duvall maybe might move. I guess there's not that much that hasn't moved, actually. There's just guys that might move.
Would the Red Sox, being in wildcard contention, be reluctant to get rid of Duvall?
Yeah, I think they would be. And that's why I think it's really odd that both I think Teoscar Hernandez is probably out the door. I don't think the Mariners are gonna compete, but I really don't know. It also just could be that they don't feel that it's worth it, to acquire whatever small prospect return they would get in order to risk them not competing or risk Teoscar Hernandez not being good. I don't know.
Do we really see Tyler O'Neill as an upgrade? His stats aren't good this year.
No, he's look 2 years ago. He's
Tyler O'Neill is a huge power bat. That's what he is.
He's 2 home runs this year.
He's been hurt the whole year. What do you mean?
Yeah, and
he's been hurt since like May.
Because he just come back. Right. So Tyler. 126 at bats. The average is about average. 0.254, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs.
Like this.
The OPS is not bad. 0.694.
No, he is very good. He is very, very good.
All right. You're selling it to me, Alex. You're selling it to me.
But he hates St. Louis. Is the problem?
Does he really?
He does not get along with Ollie Marmol. So that, or at least recently, that's been.
I'll tell you what, his last 7 games are good, averaging 0.333
in 2021.
4 RBIs
in 2021. He hit. Hold on, let me just get, because I want to be able to get his isolated WAR here.
Yeah, come on, let's have a Tyler O'Neill, a possible Tyler O'Neill report. Let's get ahead of the game.
In 2021, he accrued 5.6 WAR. While putting up, hold on, let me get the DRS here because that's important. In 2021, he had 11 defensive runs saved. In the outfield, he hit 286, 352, 560 with 34 home runs. He stole 15 bases. I mean, he is a 5-tool threat, and if you can get him with the right development staff, he's going to take off. That's the idea in acquiring Tyler O'Neill.
All right,
smashes lefties,
and
has always.
You also have to remember the context of a St. Louis team that never really. He had a little run in 21 where he was healthy and he was getting everyday at bats, but getting everyday at bats in the outfield in St. Louis has been nigh on impossible for anyone.
He's gonna get non-tendered after this year, or I mean maybe not, but like his arbitration price tag is steep. The Yankees are getting Keenan Middleton from Chicago, which is interesting.
Okay, so
if that's going to be the one move that they make, I'm interested.
Yankees in meltdown. Fans are in meltdown, aren't they? Complete water,
and they're like 4 games over 500. Imagine being that privileged.
That's imagine.
Imagine being that privileged. Oh my God!
Awful. When I went to Yankee Stadium earlier this year, you were there, Alex. The abuse that they were giving to Aaron Hicks was outrageous.
Yeah, I bet he's
like
so
literally
like there, isn't he?
To the point where it was like this has just turned into like a a nasty sort of attack on an individual. And I'm not doubting that he's had a tough time of it and he wasn't playing well or whatever.
Wow.
But how could you?
The Phillies are closing in on a deal with Pittsburgh. They're trading Bailey Falter for Rodolfo Castro, who is a second baseman. I think he's a left-handed hitter.
Okay.
But I guess that's going to be their. I guess that's going to be their guy that they used to supplant Harrison.
The Pirates got anyone left?
That's really interesting. Yeah. He's a switch hitter. Okay. So this is their bench bat, I would assume.
So this is so. Any early stats on this?
This is. I actually really. I like this. I like this a lot. This is very akin to the Edmundo Sosa deal.
Okay, this is good.
So I like this a good bit.
By the way, all the best to Bailey Falter.
Yeah.
Last year he was excellent. He really was brilliant for the Phillies. So it's a shame he's off to Pittsburgh. But okay, so what are we getting in Rodolfo Castro?
I'll be right. So he's got some power in the bat. I think he has a bunch of minor league options left. Yeah, or just one. Okay, just one minor league option left. Strikes out a lot. But yeah, there's power there. I don't mind it. It's interesting. It's hard to tell you at first glance, but
it's kind of.
I know this guy though.
You're getting someone back at the level that you would expect to get back for Bailey Falter.
It's a minor swap.
Do we think he's even going to be on the? Do you think this is going to be a bench player, or even will he start in the minors first?
No. I mean, he's going to be on the bench mainly because that would mean Stott or Turner wasn't playing.
He's not
probably.
bad. Lefties isn't bad.
Yeah. You can use him across the infield pretty much, but he's not going to be a starter. He's just going to be someone that is replacing Josh Harrison as a versatile option. And he's decent. He does have some power. He hit 19 home runs in one minor league.
How old is he?
He's 24.
Okay. And the Phils have a good tendency to get some good stuff out of the youngsters and develop them. So that's all right. Well, I've never seen him before. Never even heard of him until now. So
he's hit a few home runs against the Phillies.
His name's Rodolfo, which is a great name. You got to give him that.
A bit of flair, that name, isn't it?
Well, the Phillies once upon a time had a Rodolfo Duran. So
where's he from?
History.
I know he's from out of Pittsburgh, but what's nationality?
Give me 1 second. I'll let you know once I can.
Rodolfo. Where are we talking here? Central America? Don't tell me he's American.
Let's have a look at his bio here. No, he's from the Dominican Republic.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
He fits. Yep. Okay. I'm on the fence in this one. Never seen him play. So he'll be added to lineup probably tomorrow or into the roster tomorrow.
I would imagine it's a little bit more of an option than Josh Harrison.
Cease was not traded.
Yep.
Cease will not be traded.
Okay.
That's crazy. I can't imagine. So
yeah.
So
he has a
what about Eduardo Rodriguez? Is he not getting traded?
I don't know what he's doing. Why has he turned this? He obviously doesn't want to go to California, so he doesn't want to be in a potentially division-winning team when he can just opt for free agency in 2 months anyway. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get what he's doing.
So Castro, via Matt Winkelman, just tweeted now, Castro versus left-handed pitching this year, average .290, career .277. He says it should never face the right-handed pitcher, so he's very much in for the left-handed pitching.
But if that's the Phillies acquisition, that's not fun. But we'll see. There's still a lot of deals left to be announced.
Deadline shut, but we are now in the period of have the Phils made any more moves? We're going to find out. Has a 9.900 OPS lifetime versus lefties, so he's a left hitting specialist.
There you go.
Put it that way. So okay, that straight away is an upgrade over Harrison, without a doubt. His age helps him as well. Never seen him in defensively, but you were saying he's good defensively, Alex?
Yes, he plays a great second base.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm not.
Fine.
I'm glass half full. Let's go. But that can't be it, surely. This,
It can't be. If it is, that's crazy.
I need a bullpen arm. This cannot. So now we wait for what deals have been done and pushed over the line. All the best to Bailey Falter. His efforts last year will never.
Are we receiving any comments from our valued listeners, Dave, on any of these
We
deals?
are. It's about in general the upgrade for Harrison with this is good. People, it's an upgrade. It's not bad. It potentially could be good, especially with our coaching staff as well and our history with developing the youngsters of late. Yeah, Rodolfo, we're all on board. Yankees acquire Middleton. Yeah. Come on. This can't be it.
This is why on Sky Sports News they have to do other stupid stuff, like people going up behind the reporters with like the fingers over
the Mets traded Dominic Leone to the Angels.
And I'm trying to keep that PG for anyone who...
Yeah, I was going to say that's very PG for what goes on.
Any Americans listening can just quickly research Sky Sports News car crashes.
Or having players turn up at grounds when they think they've been sold there and not been sold there at all. Can you imagine Cease rolling up at Baltimore Orioles? Think, no, mate, no, we never.
What was the name of that guy that was driving from Stoke?
It was a West Brom player, wasn't it? What's his name?
Oh yeah, I can see him now. Yeah, you're close.
Odinwingy? what's his name?
Yeah, that's him.
Odinwingy or someone. Yeah, turned up to the stadium thinking he'd been sold there and he hadn't. Oh,
that's what's happening tonight. That's what Tommy Pham literally walked in to see Steve Cohen and said, "Get me out of here, I'm done."
Well, apparently he was dressed in his street clothes. He was. So
I heard, yeah.
Not even in gear.
He was already on the plane to Arizona.
Yeah. Paid for the Wi-Fi and told him he's not coming back. So Rodolfo Castro and Lorenzen. That's not it. Alex, come on. What's happening? What's going on?
I mean, I'm looking.
It could be.
I'm looking around. I would be shocked if the Cardinals did not trade at least one of their outfielders. I would be even more shocked. I would be absolutely wow. The Tigers did not trade Eduardo Rodriguez. That is insane.
That's stunning.
That is insane.
What? So he has just said, right? He's going into a free agent year. So he's just told every single team in the majors that he can't be asked flying to LA for 2 months for a pennant race because he'd rather stay somewhere where his family are. That's fine. I don't know what his personal reasons are. But he's basically just said, nah, I'm not interested in winning the World Series. Has he not? That's basically, I'd rather pitch on one of the worst teams in baseball.
That is so confusing.
How is that? What a potentially anticlimactic final 2 hours. I thought Erod would be one of the big ones to go.
I would love to know what prospects the Dodgers were offering the Tigers because that must be like boiling the I don't want to say.
I don't think that
would be annoying people.
I don't think LA were offering that much at all because I still think LA are holding out. I think this is like a half-assed push from LA waiting for Ohtani next year.
I refuse to believe that the Phillies are making an outfield
because now we are strongly relying on Turner, Casty to find form again, JD to find form, Rojas and Pache maintaining the starts they've had to their Phillies career.
I would be so shocked.
We are.
Dominic Leone has gone to the Angels.
I think so. If they don't acquire an outfielder, I would assume the plan is going to be continuing to play Rojas and Marsh as a platoon, and then whenever Rojas is not playing in whenever Rojas is playing in center, Marsh plays in left field, and then Harper sticks it.
You watch.
First base.
Johan will not let us down, guys.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I think
They-
that's
They're putting a lot of faith in the bats coming good. They really are. And then we've
I
got
mean-
Castro on the bench with Stubbs. What would be then Pache Marsh, a rotation of Pache Marsh, Rojas, Castro, Cave at the moment, but yeah, he'll be replaced. Yeah. Well,
I would be very surprised.
No Teoscar trade.
is that off the table completely? Is that
No,
confirmed?
it's not off the. No, I suppose it could happen, but it's just interesting that it hasn't happened already at all.
What's
One
going
year
on?
deal.
This cannot be. There's way too many pieces left out there.
That would be a very anticlimactic deadline if this were it. But yeah, I can't say I'd be thrilled with this being all the Phillies do at the deadline. That would be
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, like I said, then we are relying on the bats coming good and the talent shining through, which has got to. If it does, excellent, because then we are one of the best teams.
Let's not play down what they have done, which is add Lorenzen, which I am genuinely quite intrigued by. I'm interested to see how he fits in and how he gets on. I hope he continues his good form. The Phillies could use it. It'd be interesting to see how they use Christopher Sanchez and Ranger Suarez towards the back end of the season. So that's the good news. I suppose the other news is maybe they just think Pache is coming back and will help the club at some point. They're happy with Rojas. They don't view Bader or whoever else it is.
Bednar and Keller remain at the Pirates.
I mean, I heard they picked up the phone and asked the Yankees about Bader, so I assume they didn't like the answer that they got back. Let's put it that way.
The Mets are wow. The Marlins also picked up Josh Bell from the Guardians.
Oh, Philly killer.
Good old Josh Bell.
I hope he's not
Wow.
playing. I hope he's not playing in the next 2 games.
Marlins had a strong deadline.
But
That's pretty good.
I don't understand all of it. Where's everyone going? So what's happening with Cooper and Gurriel and Soler, and where's everyone going?
So I'm gonna guess that Berger's gonna play third base, and then Bell is gonna stick at first. Maybe Bell DHs. Maybe Cooper just starts sitting. Maybe somebody plays the outfield. Who knows? But that's dangerous. Wow. Listen,
Oh,
this win tonight is all the more important now.
I don't like facing
because-
Josh Bell.
Josh Bell and Jake Berger both feel like they're going to be Philly killers. That is, Josh Bell already is. He's certified, but that.
So the Marlins must have given up what they had left.
Whoa! What? The Marlins traded Khalil Watson for Josh Bell.
So
What?
That's bad news for me. I have him in NL Dynasty League for a start.
No, I think that's good news. I think, oh my God, Khalil Watson, that is a huge price to pay.
Segura's gone to Cleveland.
Holy cow. Yeah, and Gene Segura's going back to the Guardians, which I don't understand. I mean, I guess that's probably just salary shifting, but wow, for Khalil Watson, that's crazy.
Khalil Watson, yeah, he's kind of not been playing too much this year, and there are concerns with the temperament as well, is what I hear. He's a very interesting prospect.
Wait. We have conflicting reports here.
Oh, love it.
Josh Bell is actually going for Garrett Cooper. Is the updated one. So maybe
And Garrett Cooper.
Oh,
surely
it's getting messy. It's getting messy now.
no, but it can't be Cooper and Watson.
Well, no, it was Segura and Watson. But
Yeah, so it was Segura and Watson, but if it's Segura and no, it will be Cooper and Watson, then wouldn't it?
no, I don't know where Cooper is going. I have no idea. I have no clue.
What are Miami doing?
Garrett Cooper and Sean Reynolds to the Padres for Ryan Weathers. That's a good get. Wow,
Marlins are
that's
going.
fascinating. Yeah, they've
Marlins
been
are
active.
like, can we just get 3 wins out of Miami and then just get out of there? Because
Wow.
I don't want to
For
face the Marlins.
Ryan Weathers.
Aren't we done after the? We're done with the Marlins after this series, aren't we? For the rest of the year.
We'll find out. But this is,
Yeah,
I
but
mean, they are
Why,
pushing.
why do they think that Josh Bell is such a big upgrade on Garrett Cooper? I don't know what's wrong with them.
Well, in all fairness, Bell has been really unlucky this year. So I think that they probably also like the way that his bat plays at Lone Depot. But this feels like a huge overhaul in the clubhouse, which could be odd. And to answer your question, Dave, no, they have one more series against Miami in September. Yep.
At home, just before the Braves series.
Yep.
Okay.
I still don't think that Marlins team, if we're on it, should be. They always do because they're our bogey team. But
I just don't understand why. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Brian. I don't understand why they think that Bell is such a big upgrade over Cooper.
Is he
I'm
an
a
upgrade
little
at all?
confused.
That's what I'm saying. They got Berger. They would have had Berger, Cooper, and Yuli Gurriel. Now they've got Berger, Bell, and Gurriel, and they had to give up Khalil Watson. Doesn't make any sense. Like, to me, that's just craziness. What are you
Cooper
doing?
having a good season for the Marlins?
Not good, but I mean,
I need to see Marlins UK's tweets. Let's get.
I mean, it's a lot of theoretical thump, right? They've added a lot of, technically guys that should be, power injections, but I don't know if they make enough contact for that all to matter. And then they got rid of Garrett Cooper, which is just really weird.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that doesn't make that's going to become a clearer picture, I'm sure, probably as we watch the game tonight. But the Phils are still static.
Well, nobody has said they're done yet, so
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah, we haven't had the Phils business is all done. So as it stands, the Phils may have put some moves through, but at the moment, it seems to be all focused on the Marlins. What have they done? No one seems to be quite sure yet.
I mean, it's so weird. It's such a weird deadline for them. That is so odd.
They clearly don't love Khalil Watson's makeup as a person. That's
Cooper
my opinion.
Cooper to the Padres seems to be confirmed by Heyman.
It's all confirmed. Everything's good. Once somebody that you trust tweets it out, it's probably a good bet that it's happening. So
Cooper was in the lineup tonight.
And for the Pirates as well, Garrett Cooper,
so was Segura.
So it's a weird one.
Yeah, I guess they're playing 2 players down tonight, which is crazy. But I mean, it's not like those guys were.
Yeah, but they can't play Berger and Bell. So who's playing tonight?
They can't.
That is a good point. We've got to get a couple of wins now in this win this series.
I mean,
I suppose losing Segura and Cooper's not the end of the world. They'll probably play.
No trade has been made for Noah Song.
So
he is going to go to waivers.
No other announcement expected.
Yep. There it is.
Todd's like he said, Phillies deals before today's deadline. No other announcements expected.
Wow.
That's it.
That's pretty rough.
Wow.
Not great.
What an anticlimax. So that's it. Well, in the boys we trust, like I said, if these boys catch fire, if Turner gets going, if Casti recaptures his form, if JT gets going, if Bryce finds the power again, and Bowman, Marsh, and Stott sustain what they've got, Rojas as well, Schwarber continues his improvement. Hey, this offense is absolute fire. It's still one of the best in baseball, but we are heavily relying on them catching fire. But I trust. I do trust this team. I do trust this team to come.
I just don't know why they wouldn't make the deal for like Mark Canha or somebody like that. I'm a little confused, but
But
It
then
is what it is.
also as well, the Phils have kept hold of some big prospects.
Yeah, but they also needed a little bit more bench help, and I don't think
I know.
Rodolfo Castro is that. So I'm a little
That was flat, wasn't it?
I'm a
What
little
flat deadline
surprised.
that was. Oh, just please, Phils, beat the Marlins tonight and pick us all back up. Come on. Especially, who are the Marlins? What is the Marlins lineup? Have we seen it tonight?
Oh, it included. We know it.
We haven't seen the
Segura and
updated
Cooper.
one. No. Still a lot of deals going down though.
Yeah, Urias has
Luis
gone.
Arias going
the
to
Red
the Red Sox. That's interesting.
Why? That's from the Brewer. He's a Brewer, isn't he? Or was?
Yes.
Yeah, Urias from the Brewers. God, what's? You know what, Phil? Just get it done. Just get it done on the field.
Yeah. I guess that's gonna be the idea.
There we are. That's where it feels unusual because this is sort of Dombrowski's. This deadline was sort of Dombrowski's, wasn't it? Wheeler dealing, as we said last podcast. He's usually really good at making these sort of deals, but you can only assume that what teams were asking back for was just way too much.
I guess so. I mean, again, and this is the other thing. It's very possible that just other teams weren't looking to these teams weren't looking to move some of these players that are under control for a little bit longer. I do think that there are probably going to be a lot of trades made in the off season in that respect, because again, a lot of these guys still have to be traded, as it were. I'm sure Dylan Carlson, Tyler O'Neill, these guys will probably still be on the move. You're just going to have to wait a few months. So we'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too downbeat tonight. If it had been a different evening, instead of getting an infielder, we were expecting it to be an outfielder. We were expecting it to be someone like Duval or Teoscar or someone like that. It would have been a little bit exciting, but not like massively. It still would have been a rental bat. It's a bit strange that it's happened the way that it's happened, and Rodolfo's not as.
Yeah.
We lost. Yeah, I wouldn't be too downbeat.
No, I'm. It's not that I'm downbeat. I'm just a little confused as to why they wouldn't have pulled the trigger on somebody like Mark Canha. I understand Tommy Pham, I guess, but I'm a little confused. I know that the market was short, but I think I'm just surprised.
At the same time, I didn't want the Phils to make trades for the sake of making trades either. So, and I trust Dave Dombrowski, 100% trust Dave Dombrowski. So this is it. We roll, we move. Hey, look, let's beat. Marlins are depleted tonight. Segura and Cooper are packing their bags and they're off elsewhere. They're probably going to have. I don't know who's going to try out from at first or at third, but the Phils a good opportunity. So the Phils could do just winning the next two games, sweeping the Marlins and getting out of there, because then we've got the Royals coming at home, a massive homestand for the Phils coming up. Hey, look, this August should be a good August for the Phils. Let's come on, pick it up, guys. Let's pick it up. The Phils are in a really good position still if they can just get the talent going. If Bohm can sustain what he's doing with Stott and Marsh and Rojas as well, the youngsters especially are picking this team up and saying, "Come on, guys!" They're doing it because the daycare kids, they've been fantastic. We've got to keep going. Trey, get some hits, Trey. Just get on base. Stop swinging at crap. Just walk, Trey. Just steal base, get on base, steal bases. Bryce keeps with the big hits. Casty, again, just get on base. Take some walks. Stop swinging it. Stop playing cricket. Come on, we need base runners, although it's not making much difference of late, but I don't think the Phils are too far away. And I still think this roster we have now should finish top of that wild card.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. No, I don't at all. I think that what you are going to lack from in terms of thump from the lineup, and I think the Phillies are really putting their chips in with that. But what you are going to lack in power, you're going to make up in defense. And I don't think you're going to fully make it up, but that outfield defense now is really, really good. You know, you're going to have Rojas and Pache, monitoring center field. And they are two of the best defensive center fielders I've ever seen. And then Brandon Marsh, who has been great in center field this year, manning left field. I mean, Nick Castellanos in right, but he's been relatively decent when he has a good counterpart in center field. So, wow, Padres got Scott Barlow. Interesting.
Still going down.
Dodgers got Ryan Yarbrough as well.
Yeah, and as for the pop, if Bryce catches fire again, you're going to get some pop coming from there. Maybe Casty and Turner find some pop. Alec Bohm hit a home run the other day. Maybe Alec finds some pop as well. Stott's got some home runs in him. There's pop in that team because we've seen it. But if they can unlock that would be huge. Absolutely huge for the Phils. So I'm not completely out on
the best
here.
case scenario for the Phillies is if Rhys Hoskins were actually ahead of schedule. That would be a pretty big deal.
Because how many home runs short of the Phils in this time last year?
Well, I've seen that statistic, but I think just in general, they need that right-handed bat. And I mean, maybe that's why they ultimately decided not to make a trade. Maybe Rhys Hoskins will be back earlier than we think.
I like that.
Who knows?
We'll finish on that.
We'll see.
Finish on that one.
I have to run anyway. So, guys, it was a lovely stream. I really enjoyed it.
Yep, loved it. Guys, thank you for watching on Twitter and YouTube as well. Numbers been really good following along. So, and thank you for getting involved as well. Not quite the deadline we hoped for, but you know what? In Dombrowski and trust, in Topper we trust, and in these boys, this roster, we trust. And let's beat the fish. Go Phils. From me, Dave Shaw. It is Ring the Bell. From Alex.
Ring the bell, Dave.
Ryan, take us out, buddy.
Ring the bell.
Go Phillies. Thank you.
Bye, guys.